Imagine plunging 3,000 feet into a cave, surrounded by nothing but darkness, when suddenly the ground gives way. Rocks crash from above, and you're sent hurtling deeper, injured, and utterly alone. Now, picture a group of divers entering the infamous Devil's Cave, lured by its mystery, only to vanish without a trace, their fate swallowed by the depths. Let's uncover the secrets of these haunting journeys. Jim Houtz's life began on a frosty Colorado day, but his family soon moved to California. As a youngster, he split his time between home and two beloved spots, the San Bernardino Mountains and Catalina Island, where his mom ran a Girl Scout camp each summer. Nature became Jim's playground, sparking a deep love for wild places, especially the vast oceans. Even as a child, he yearned to explore those mysterious waters. Determined to chase his dream, Jim enlisted in the US Navy. The journey was tough, with grueling training that pushed many to their limits. Only a few, including Jim, made it through. He joined an elite underwater team focused on recovery and demolition, a role that later evolved into the modern Navy SEALs. Jim's diving missions took him to treacherous waters worldwide. He became the go-to expert for retrieving crucial items, like test missiles from submarines. After an action-packed career, Jim decided to retire in the mid-1960s. But retirement didn't mean slowing down for Jim. He set his sights on a new challenge, exploring some of the world's deepest and most mysterious underwater caves. Rumors swirled about these hidden labyrinths, especially one called Devil's Hole. This dangerous spot had claimed many lives, with few daring to enter and even fewer escaping unharmed. Devil's Hole stands out as a truly unique formation, nestled in one of Death Valley National Park's driest corners in Nevada. For centuries, this small, warm pool has attracted explorers. Its existence in such a barren landscape seems impossible. Some scientists believe an earthquake created a large crack in the Amargosa Desert around 500,000 years ago, which eventually filled with spring and rainwater. Today, Devil's Hole continues to shift and evolve due to nearby tectonic activity. Surprisingly, even tremors from distant places like Mexico and Japan can affect it. In one strange incident, a 7.4 magnitude quake in Mexico sent a wave rolling through Devil's Hole's waters, leaving nearby researchers amazed. This event and others point to Devil's Hole being part of a larger hidden network of underground waterways spanning vast distances, possibly linking continents. At first glance, Devil's Hole looks like a small pool with shimmering blue water in a jagged rock crevice. But beneath the surface, it drops to a limestone shelf, then opens into a massive cavern that seems endless. Jim, who dived there often, named this cavern the Infinity Room due to its seemingly bottomless depths. Dark tunnels and chambers branch off from the main room, some containing pockets of toxic air, making it a dangerous place for unprepared divers. Long ago, the Tembisa Shoshone Native Americans knew about Devil's Hole and warned their kids to stay away. They believed it was a path for water babies, dangerous spirits that could lure and trap unsuspecting visitors. Stories also told of friendly shamans who used these underground waters as secret routes, traveling far without surfacing. Later, these spooky tales even caught the attention of Charles Manson, a cult leader who thought Devil's Hole was a gateway to the afterlife. He saw it as the perfect hiding spot during an apocalypse. The site houses one of the world's rarest fish species, the Devil's Hole pupfish. These tiny inch-long fish live only here, in the top 50 feet of the pool. Over time, the pupfish have adapted to the warm, low-oxygen water, thriving in conditions most fish couldn't handle. In the 1960s, Devil's Hole was still a hidden gem. Jim's dives there started to grab attention when his stories hit newspapers and TV. As interest grew, so did public fascination with the pupfish, and Devil's Hole became both a scientific marvel and a symbol of untamed nature. The idea that such a mysterious, dangerous place existed just hours from Las Vegas struck a chord with many. One captivated reader was Paul Giacintieri, a young cafeteria worker at the Nevada test site who craved escape from his boring job. He longed for adventure to break free from the daily grind. When he shared Jim's story with his new brother-in-law, David Rose, they decided to embark on their own journey to explore Devil's Hole. They figured surviving such a notorious place would make them famous and silence their family's criticism about their lack of direction. The brothers Bill and Jack Alter joined Paul and David's team. Their simple adventure plan was set. On June 20th, 1965, they packed up and headed to Devil's Hole. At the site, they climbed the rough hill, ignoring warning signs and fences. Their lights revealed rare pupfish swimming in the clear water below. The eerie scene amazed them, but Jack got cold feet. He stayed on watch while the others got ready to dive. Paul, David, and Bill entered the water. Their lights barely cut through the darkness as they descended. It felt like floating over an endless pit. Despite the blackness, they pushed on, going down almost 100 feet. Then, things got scary. They lost their bearings in the dark depths and realized they were running out of air. Bill, breathing hard from fear, signaled to surface. In the chaos, they split up. Bill and David came up around midnight, waiting anxiously for Paul. When he didn't appear, they dove back down, hoping to find him in an air pocket. But David vanished too, leaving Bill to surface alone. With no choice left, Bill and Jack raced to Las Vegas for help. By morning, rescue teams arrived as word spread. Families of the missing men gathered, hoping for good news. Meanwhile, famous diver Jim Houts got a call in Southern California. He quickly gathered expert divers, including Harry Wam, a nightclub singer who'd worked with Jim on deep dives before. At Devil's Hole, Jim found a tense crowd. News crews, police, and families waited for updates. After a few dives, Jim found a mask, snorkel, and flashlight on a ledge, giving hope. But more dives failed to find the men, and eventually the rescue stopped. The fate of Paul and David in Devil's Hole's dark depths remains unknown. The Infinity Room keeps its secrets, and even Jim couldn't find out how deep it really goes. Now, security at Devil's Hole is stricter. The memory of those who vanished serves as a grim reminder of the cave's unforgiving nature. This tragic event highlights the dangers lurking in Devil's Hole. Its mysterious depths continue to fascinate and terrify people. The disappearance of Paul and David added to the site's dark legend, making it even more intriguing to thrill seekers and scientists alike. The incident also sparked debates about safety measures and access to natural wonders. It raised questions about the balance between exploration and preservation. Devil's Hole became a symbol of nature's power and the risks of underestimating it. Johann Westhauser's incredible adventure into Germany's treacherous Riesending Cave and his dramatic rescue stands as one of caving's most extraordinary tales. At age 52, this passionate scientist from Stuttgart worked at the Karlsruhe Technology Institute, but his true love lay underground. Since his first venture into the Riesending Cave system in 1995, Johann became completely captivated. He and his team, the Bad Cannstatter Cave Research Group, explored these caves more extensively than anyone else alive. The massive Riesending Cave system sits near the German-Austrian border, its name literally meaning gigantic thing, perfectly describing this vast and intimidating underground realm. The cave plunges almost 12,000 feet deep and winds through more than 12 miles of passages, with countless areas still waiting to be discovered. The cave's interior feels alien, filled with narrow pathways, rushing waterfalls, soaring rock chimneys, and tight, cramped corridors. Slippery rocks coat most passages, creating constant danger and uncertainty. Yet Johann pushed forward, driven by the thrill of finding unexplored territories and potentially linking this cave to a massive super cave system. In early June 2014, Johann and two fellow adventurers embarked on their most ambitious expedition yet, aiming to probe even deeper into Riesending's depths. They dreamed big, hoping to discover a connection between Riesending and Austria's legendary network of roughly 4,000 caves. Such a discovery would make caving history, and Johann burned with determination to achieve it. The team packed hundreds of pounds of essential gear: ropes, harnesses, lights, food, water, and medical supplies, preparing themselves for what would become one of their most perilous journeys ever. On June 7th, 2014, as noon approached, Johann's team entered Riesending's mouth. Their journey began with an intense rope descent, carefully lowering themselves into the cave's dark, wet depths. The initial descent pushed their bodies to the limit. Their muscles screamed as they maneuvered through tight passages, gripping moisture-slicked rocks, with visibility limited to mere feet ahead. Johann's pulse pounded as he concentrated on each crucial move, knowing that one wrong step could spell disaster. The team pushed deeper into Riesending's belly, reaching Base Station 1. Their muscles burned as they paused to gulp down air before continuing their descent. Each station offered brief shelter from the endless darkness, but the cave grew more menacing with every foot they dropped. The second stretch hit them harder. Sharp rocks tore at their ropes while narrow tunnels squeezed in around them. Johann's fierce drive kept him moving forward. Even as he noticed fear creeping into one teammate's eyes, he rallied his friend's spirits, reminding him of their mission: to be the first to unlock Riesending's secrets. The third descent threw even bigger challenges at them. This section twisted through an unpredictable maze of loose rocks and tight passages. Johann's heart jumped when his rope caught suddenly on a jagged edge. Fear shot through him as he imagined tons of rock breaking loose above. He knew death lurked in every wrong move. Fighting his nerves, he pressed on, guiding his team through the gauntlet of falling rocks. Their headlamps cut weak circles in the absolute darkness, creating ghostly shapes on the cave walls. Finally, they stumbled into Base Station 3, drained but thrilled by their progress. A rare horizontal stretch of cave lay ahead, giving them a chance to recover before tackling the next drop. After 10 grueling hours underground, their energy tanks ran low, but their determination stayed strong. The thought of stepping into unexplored territory, every caver's dream, drove them forward. Base Station 4 presented one final challenge: a treacherous slope of shifting rocks. Johann felt confident as he took point, placing each foot with careful precision to maintain his balance on the unstable ground. The cave's silence exploded as rocks suddenly broke loose above them. Before Johann could move, a massive boulder smashed into his helmet. The brutal impact split his protection and knocked him out cold. His body crumpled onto the rocks, completely still. His teammates stood frozen in horror. They had descended over 3,000 feet into Earth's depths, and now Johann lay motionless, critically injured, and impossibly far from help. One teammate stayed to watch over Johann, while the other raced toward the surface to sound the alarm. The grueling climb took almost 10 hours before the exhausted caver finally reached the entrance and called emergency services. News of the accident spread like wildfire, launching what would become one of history's most ambitious and dangerous cave rescues. Getting Johann out would demand days of effort and help from an international team of rescuers. Rescue teams rushed in from all corners of Europe. Over 700 brave souls joined forces in this massive operation. Setting up this rescue mission felt like organizing a war campaign. The team knew getting Johann out would match the challenge of saving someone from Everest's peak. They quickly built a vital communication chain, stretching from the cave's mouth down to Johann's location, making sure supplies and critical messages could flow smoothly. On June 11th, 4 days into Johann's nightmare, the first doctor finally reached him deep underground. Johann was alive, but badly hurt with a serious head injury. His life hung by a thread, but the doctor worked fast to get him stable enough to move. In the days that followed, rescuers pushed their bodies to the limit, fighting through tight spaces, slick rocks, and deadly drops to bring Johann the supplies keeping him alive. The rescuers turned the cave into their temporary home, working in shifts to carry Johann toward daylight. Without any machines to help, they relied on ropes, pulleys, and pure muscle power to move him through each section. The journey tested every ounce of their strength and skill. They wrapped Johann in a special shock-absorbing stretcher, knowing the slightest bump could spell disaster. Sometimes, rescuers had to dangle as human counterweights, slowly climbing vertical walls where one wrong move meant death. After 12 long days underground, on June 19th, Johann finally saw sunlight again. Victory filled the air as a helicopter lifted him away to a Bavarian hospital. He spent weeks in trauma care, with many more months of healing ahead. This intense rescue changed everyone involved, from Johann's caving partners to the hundreds of heroes who risked everything to save his life. After this close call, officials locked down Riesending's entrance. Now, only expert cavers with proper permits and good reasons can explore its depths. The cave had shown once again why locals called it the gigantic thing, a place where wonder and danger danced together in the darkness, guarding its mysteries for another day.